I feel like Ethan.
It's the Extremist movie debate.
It's usually his hip.
And tonight we're talking 1994's The Ref.
Which year?
1994.
I'm Joe.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it. Thanks
Let
for
the
the
coin decide their
request.
fate.
I love it.
I hate it. Thanks, Jake. Hey, guys. Don't hold us hostage. There's spoilers ahead.
Solid.
Who requested this?
Jake?
Lusk?
No.
Okay.
I don't think you know him.
Okay.
It's my cousin.
Oh, thanks.
Does?
Thanks, Jake. This movie currently holds a 71% on RottenTomatoes.com.
What?
71% on RottenTomatoes.com. Ethan, since you...
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Joe, since you hate this movie...
Yeah, I do.
This
Boring. Nothing happens.
This question comes to you from Kenneth Turnenbrag from the Los Angeles Times. Turnenbrag.
Okay.
The ref benefits from having actors. So like an actor's actor that, like a comedian's comedian or a webcaster's webcaster like us. The ref benefits from having actors like Judy Davis and Kevin Spacey in the leads.
Joe really loves Kevin Spacey.
Great to have him in a movie.
Yeah, so what about this movie could only be made better by Kevin Spacey's presence? You have 1 minute.
Nothing, because this movie's terrible. Nothing happens in it. And Kevin Spacey, he's just like... people think he's this great actor because he brings this well-rounded idea of a character, but it's just not true, because all he ever does is snarkiness. He's just this snarky, mean old man. He was this snarky, mean old man as he was a young man in this movie. You see that, and you can tell the news that's come out about him. It makes sense, because he basically is just every single character he's ever played. So it's not really even acting. So I don't really necessarily want to call Kevin Spacey an actor's actor. And on top of that, you have Denis Leary, who's actually just a stand-up comedian, and not stand-up comedians are not often very good screen actors, and that's proven here in this very boring movie where nothing happens, and you can just see Denis Leary essentially trying to recreate his stand-up routine on film.
Okay, I haven't heard anything about this Kevin Spacey news, so we'll touch on that later. Ethan, you have 30 seconds to respond.
As far as comedians not being good actors, I think that it's actually a well-known adage that comedians can go into drama very easily, but not so much vice versa. And I think that's because comedians understand human emotions a little bit more in depth than maybe some drama people will understand comedic timing. So yeah, Denis Leary does perfectly fine in this. He has to be aggressive yet lovable. You have to fear for your life, yet you have to understand that he actually kind of has a heart of gold and deserves to get away in the end. And so he pulls that off wonderfully. As far as Kevin Spacey goes, separate the art from the artist.
Dennis Leary was in The Sandlot. Ethan, Joe, you have 15 seconds to respond.
So Ethan, you misunderstood when I said stand-up comedian. I don't mean a comedic actor. I mean a stand-up performer with a stand-up routine, and that's what Denis Leary is. He's not a comedic actor. He is a stand-up comedian who is trying to break into screen acting.
Okay, Ethan, you have a final 15 to respond.
And he flourished. He did The Sandlot. He did Rescue Me. He's doing
Demolition
just perfectly
Man.
fine for himself. Ooh, Demolition Man.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's not good.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic.
in that.
You brought up The Sandlot. I will bring up Rescue Me. I believe he was probably nominated for many awards for that, even though I never saw an episode.
You sound
Okay.
like Trump.
Dennis Leary.
He was probably nominated for many awards.
Probably.
And Joe, Pete Holmes would argue with your whole premise. Ethan, this next
Pete
question...
Holmes is the exception, man.
Amy Schumer.
Nope, terrible.
Dave Chappelle.
Bad.
Okay.
He made one movie and it's about pot. How hard is that?
Okay.
He's pretty good in it.
Yeah. Ethan, this next question is for you. This comes from David Starrett of the Christian Science Monitor. Oh, this review made me laugh. David says, "This is a funny idea, but the movie is too thinly written to build any real credibility, and the cast rarely seems in tune with the vapid vulgarities that dominate the dialogue. So, in your humble opinion, do you think that there are times and places for vulgarity in cinema? And if so, is this movie a perfect place for it?" You have 1 minute.
I think absolutely, yes, there's time and place for vulgarity, and I think that this movie does an excellent job of it. I think that time and place, and if it's in a movie, should probably be when you're being held hostage by a man with a gun, and you hate the rest of your family, and you're on the verge of breaking apart your marriage. So, yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense to be vulgar in this movie. I think that if you wanted a straightforward comedy, sure, I can understand you're a little bit disappointed, because I think that's the greatest feat of this movie, is that it's actually a really, really dark kind of family drama, and it does a great job of developing all the characters of this family, let alone just the two main characters, the Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis. Thank you.
Betty Davis.
Yep, great. I think that they have a very big arc, and I think they come around in the end and they end up having a lot of depth to them, and I think that is probably the best positive that you could say about this movie, is that it's not only succeeds as a comedy, but it also succeeds as a sort of overwhelming family drama where you actually get to learn a little bit about yourself in the end.
But yourself, I feel bad for your family.
Perfect. Joe, you have 30 seconds to respond.
This movie, nothing happens. At the beginning, they hate each other. At the end, they hate each other, but he hates his mom more. That's basically all it is. So as a way to stick it to his mom, he's sticking with his wife. Their son's shitty, and he's extorting money from a general. Support the troops guy over here loves this movie that's just sticking it to the military.
I'm going to put this episode out before that, just so you don't get the next sense.
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, nothing changes at the end except for, like, Denis Leary leaves the house and he's out of their lives.
Okay, thanks. Ethan, you have 15 seconds to respond.
I think that's a bunch of bullshit, because you have these characters that were there. Basically, the biggest flaw in their marriage is one point where he took money from his mother and then changed his life's direction. And I think that they were unable to ever discuss that point, and they get to a place where they can actually discuss that point in the end, and they come around to each other.
All right, thanks, Ethan. Joe, you have a final 15 to respond.
Like, the movie's supposed to, like, be funny because Denis Leary takes on this role as like therapist, but he's a bad therapist, and all he does is get them to yell at each other a little bit more. And yeah, you find out that like that's the thing that made their marriage crumble, but you already knew that to begin with.
Okay, thanks. We're going to open up the floor for discussion. You guys have 4 minutes, and go.
Like him as a therapist, that's like one scene, all right? That's not the entire movie at all.
One scene.
Like, it's one scene when the family comes to dinner.
Do you know what the tagline is? It says, "There's a new therapist in town." That is the tagline of this movie.
Look, do not fault a movie based on marketing. We've had this discussion many times.
On top of that, yeah, but Denis Leary, it's well-known trivia that Denis Leary, one of the writers of this movie, came up with that tagline.
Was he literally one of the writers of this movie?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
Good job, Denis Leary. Earn those awards you very rightfully deserve.
What was the tagline?
There's a new therapist in town.
And you know what? The tagline's right because it fucking works.
And there's another tagline
because they stay together in the end. The kid stays at home.
Hey, this
everybody
new
comes
therapist
around
breaking
in.
in.
Kid's not blackmailing people anymore.
So basically, no, he's still blackmailing people. This movie all takes place in one day. Like, people do not change their lives this drastically in one day.
But here's the thing: when they're harboring something that was a monumental decision in their lives and changed the entire direction of their entire family, of their entire marriage, when they finally understand each other's motivations for that moment, when they finally understand those motivations, that's when they can come around. So yeah, there's a big moment of change.
But
you can say that these moments take weeks or whatever, but all that happens is that one moment.
They already understand those. It's the wife. It's Judi Dench is the one that's saying like, this is what got us here. And Kevin Spacey starts to realize like, oh, I do actually hate my mother. And then his brother's like, oh fuck, I do too. It's like watching.
He's hated the mother since the beginning. He knows
this is just everybody hates the mother. This is a Bush family barbecue.
The mother, we get it, but he took a loan from her and he has to keep her there because all of a sudden
he loves his mom. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming into town every year.
He had to take a loan. There's a big speech that he has at the end about why he made this decision and why she's so angry about it. And she finally understands his perspective of it.
They're both
which, if anything, you can say is maybe sexist now that I'm saying
all they had to do is take 2 seconds to think about the other person's shoes, but they still hate each other. But he just decides that he hates his mom more, like I already said. That's all this movie is. So nothing changes except for people rightfully hate.
Look, if I'm not going to change your mind about any of the characters' motivations, then we can at least agree that a Christmas movie should be about hating your family. And so this is at least a very good Christmas movie.
God, we just watched White Christmas. This is all about loving your family.
There is no fucking family in that movie except the military, and they love the military.
Yeah, they love their family, which is the military.
Yeah, the military is their family. It's like Band of Brothers.
Yep.
Band of
you know
Brothers.
What? They all had broken apart, and then they all come back together. Just like in this movie, they've all broken apart, and they all come back together. So family, just like Home Alone, they've all broken apart, and they all come back together. That is
one person
what
breaks
this
apart.
movie is about.
They try to kick the kid out of the family, and he just stays at the house.
Like, we're not arguing Home Alone again.
Enveloped into the.
I would love to.
All right, Home Alone. What you think about it?
Home Alone? Did I love it? Or terrible?
All right, how do you guys really feel about this movie?
I like this movie.
I was
don't
really
know why
bored with
Ethan
it.
likes Why?
I think that the acting is actually very good in this.
The acting's
I was
amazing.
happy enough with Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary's great.
He never wows me, but I like him. But like Kevin Spacey and Judy Davis both did a fantastic job in this movie. I had never heard of Judy Davis before, and I feel bad about that. She was real good in this.
No, they worked really well off of each other.
I think my biggest problem is like that it was like kind of what we were talking about way back when. It's like August Osage County. It's just a bunch of family members that are just upset with each other. But like I laughed once in this movie.
Really?
Once.
I laughed a lot in this movie.
Maybe I was just in a bad mood.
Well, you did wake up at like 4:30 to watch it.
I sure did.
I laughed at the running gag of the piss. I know. Maybe that's a little too low.
It doesn't make sense to begin with. Like, it doesn't make sense why they were spraying cat piss on... why there's a fail-safe on the safe to spray cat piss on anybody who breaks into it. We don't understand how that fail-safe works. We don't understand why it sprays... Why this guy
Jesus Christ,
this guy like giggling to himself. So it's like...
Why can't you just...
But the
why
foundation...
can't you just enjoy... That's the thing.
Because
You're
the
looking too
foundation
far
of the
into
joke
it.
doesn't make sense.
You're looking way too far into it. It's not lazy. This is, again, you proving that you're a numbers guy.
No, it's just...
When you can't just enjoy things for a guy getting sprayed in the face with cat piss.
It's a callback to something that is not
thing.
only lazy but doesn't make sense. So
But
one
it's
time I
funny,
laughed at this movie
and it
was when
continues on
the
the
cops
entire
answer the
movie.
phone in the house and it's his partner and he goes and he hangs up. That was funny. Otherwise, this movie was actually just kind of sad to watch.
No, it's sad. It's a dark comedy. It's sad, like because these characters are sad and depressed. But I like Dennis Leary coming in and just like being like the no bullshit kind of guy, but also trying to play the part. Like when the family gets there, like I thought it all worked really well. I think it's very funny.
I did like that they framed every shot to make sure they had the candles and that was really good. Like there are moments of this where I'm like Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson had their moments, but yeah, they produced.
And this is one of them. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And this is one of them. They nailed it. I did watch this movie in about 3 or 4 settings as well.
2 for 2 on that.
Anyway, I watched this while I was making dinner. I watched it while my baby was eating.
It's fun. It's worth watching.
I like this movie a lot. I saw this movie for the first time when I was like 9 or 10. My aunt and uncle were watching it.
Maybe that's why you liked it more. I never watched this movie growing up.
I didn't remember any of it. I just remembered knowing they thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it was. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I would give this movie 7 lightning strikes, no thunder.
Hey, Ethan, let me do my job. What would you rate the movie?
I'll probably give it
Stop looking
6. And I'm sorry, I'll probably give it 6 and no thunder.
Oh, over there.
She's got Judy Davis eyes. Where can we find you guys?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Gmail,
YouTube,
Pants Pending.
subscribe.
You can find us
emd.pantspending.com, artificialwood.pantspending.com. Thanks to Justin Hines, Summer
Bandcamp.com. Thanks to Mitch Davis Media for all the graphics. Check out Butt Booth. It's movie posters you can really get behind.
Greg Hamlin from The Big Smokes. Happy holidays, everybody. Keep it PC out there.
Thanks.